today's broadcast. How is everybody doing? A little apologies from me. I've been lacking on putting out content. I'm going to get back on it. Real life is just kicking my butt right now. But today we got a great show coming for you. Today we're going to talk about how to sell on Poshmark with Nicole State. What is up, Nicole? How are you?
Hello, Reezy. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. What? That was like the most formal reply ever.
I was texting Joe and saying, please link our live show on Instagram so people can come watch us.
Oh, yes. I should also be sharing this out to Twitters or whatever. Let me do like a super quick, dirty Twitter share and a super dirty Facebook share. I literally just press the button and then press share. Like it's not optimized at all, but it's out there. So hopefully the people are coming because this was not set up, but we're here. We got 42 people here already. So thank you for showing up, guys. Please smash the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Again, today's topic is going to be regarding Poshmark, and today's guest is the fabulous Nicole State. Fun fact, Nicole, the last time you were on my show, I believe, was 2 years ago. It was October. It was this month 2 years ago. It was like October 19th. I think you've been on before, like in between randomly, but like formally. The last time you were on Reezy Talks was
Wow.
2 years ago and some change, like a week, October 17th of 2017.
What episode was that? Like, what number was it? Very
Like
early on.
30 or 31. And we're like on 99 right now.
Oh, 100's coming up. That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So if you guys don't know who Nicole is, she's a reseller. She's part of the community. She's my friend. Her information is in the description, her YouTube and her Instagram. So go click on those, follow her up. Tons of good, valuable content for you to learn from. But Nicole, let's just give them a little intro because I know a lot of people, even though they love me, and they're just not going to click on it. They just can't be asked to do anything like that. So let's just
Okay.
let them know, who is Nicole State? Where do you where do you come from? Where do you go? You know what I mean? Cotton Eye
Where
Joe.
did I
I
come
was trying to
from?
think from some kind of Cotton Eye Joe lineup right there, especially since your husband's name is Joe. But I wasn't witty enough. So let's just cut the
Well,
humor and get straight to the details, the deets.
why
Who
don't
is
I tell
Nicole?
you? Yeah, why don't I tell you who I am, Reezy? My
Yeah, yeah.
name's
Just tell
Nicole.
me, yo, who are you?
Yeah, my name's Nicole. I live in Portland. I met Reezy many years ago at this point, which seems kind of crazy. And we were both very much starting off on our like YouTube social media journeys. And now we're here. I make YouTube videos about reselling women's clothing, and my main platform is Poshmark. I just started selling on Poshmark like full time. I listed my first item over there just over a year ago now. It's been about 18 months. But my first year on Poshmark, I did 100,000 in sales. So I definitely know how to flip
Wow.
clothing. I was selling on eBay before that, and I transitioned over to Poshmark seamlessly. So my sales didn't really fluctuate much. A lot of people think that you can't do that, but you definitely can. So I'm
That's
excited to be on Poshmark.
That's awesome. I love that when eBay, started getting tough or started making changes, you took as an opportunity to go into Poshmark and explore it, and very quickly, not just had success, but noticed the potential very quickly and executed. That's what I like about you. Is I noticed that you're very quick, like me, to recognize opportunity, but you're way faster than me at execution. And like you'll have tried and failed 3 times before I even finish my one try, just because that's just how you are. And so you were like, I swear you probably sold, like a casual month on Poshmark. And then you were like, okay, month 2, we're going to do 10 grand no matter what.
Yeah.
And then you did what, 12, 15-hour, 20-hour days until you made it work.
Well, I was thinking about time management earlier because a lot of people ask me like how, like you mentioned, like
Hold
10-hour
on,
days, but
real quick before we get into the time management, because this is going to take a second. Guys, I'm doing something really crazy on this show. It's the first time I've ever tried it. It's definitely going to mess up and have problems. But if you want to call in to today's show, it's going to be a video call in. You're going to call in from your phone or from your laptop, please have headphones plugged in. And if you have a question for me or Nicole and you want to get on the show, DM me on Instagram, Reezy Resells on Instagram, your question. If your question's approved, you will get a link back. When you click on that link, it will bring you onto the show in the waiting room, and I'll put you on the show to ask your question. So it should be pretty amazing, but 100% chance something's going to go wrong. I'm just letting you guys know we're working it out. So what were you saying about time management? Sorry, Nicole.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna say I was thinking about time management today because everyone always asks me like, how do you get so much stuff done in a day? And I really think that the reason I am successful with time management is because I am not afraid of failure. Like I'm not risk adverse. I don't care. Like I'll make that mistake and then I'll just do it again and again and again instead of wasting time like thinking about it or trying to figure out how to do it perfectly. I just kind of do it and then see what happens.
Yeah, you got to. And the best part about that is you're having more chances to succeed. You're basically going to succeed faster because I think anybody who's ever done anything great knows that it comes at the price of failure and all the other stuff that comes with that, putting yourself out there, maybe even losing money, whatever, but just trying it, failing, analyzing the results, not letting the data, don't get emotional, don't let it beat you up, you know what I mean? And move on to the next one, because a lot of people just can't do that because when they fail, it hurts them so much and they give too many fucks about the emotions of it. They let it control them. You know what I mean? Like, don't give a fuck give a fuck about it because you're learning and that matters. But don't give a fuck like on a personal level where you like give it power to like control you. You know what I mean? Like,
right, yeah. Most failures aren't personal. It's just part of life. Like that failure, like me messing up on Poshmark, it's not coming to get me, and it's not like a personal thing. It's just a business thing, and I try and look at it like that.
definitely. So let's talk about your specific current business model on Poshmark. Also, just want to make sure if anyone's seen the tag down here and they don't know, Nicole's just got back like what, 3 days ago, max 2 days ago from Poshfest.
Yeah, so Poshfest 2019 just happened this Friday and Saturday. Today's Monday, so I came back on Saturday, but it lasted through Saturday. So 2 days ago, I guess it ended.
Cool. Yeah. And so Nicole was a featured speaker at Poshfest, and she actually spoke 3 times. I was just telling her that's crazy. They had her up there 3 times to deliver her talk. What was your talk on? Was it YouTube stuff?
Yeah, so it was like the YouTube and how to grow your business using YouTube.
Awesome. Yeah, super cool. So did you talk about like mystery boxes or did you talk about anything like that?
No, we mostly just talked about how to get started on YouTube and why it's important to do YouTube and the value that it can bring to your business in general. I was so my channel
that's
was
intriguing to me, not to interrupt you, but so how does that play out? Like, is it YouTube as a business or YouTube as it pertains to helping your Poshmark business?
I think that it was a little bit of both, to be honest. So it wasn't necessarily one or the other. My panel was interesting because there was a lot of panels, but my panel in particular, I was the only person who sold on Poshmark on my panel. All the other panels had 2 or 3 different Poshmark sellers and then the moderator. My panel was just me and then someone from YouTube. So we actually had someone from YouTube on stage with me, and we kind of talked about like best practices for YouTube, how to get started. And then I went more in depth in how it helped my business and how, I do a lot of haul videos and I'll show the items, and then that brings life to the items and it helps them sell essentially.
Oh, so what you're saying is that your haul video triggers people to go do eBay searches. Is that what you're saying?
Right, Poshmarks.
I mean, Poshmark, I'm sorry. I have a one-track mind.
So I actually did this thing and I asked the audience, like, how many of you have watched my YouTube videos? And most of them raised their hand. Right. And then I said, and how many of you have seen something in my YouTube video and then purchased it because you saw it in the video? And I would say about 20% of them kept their hands up. And that's right. It was a good number.
Also, there's more metrics to that, not just the fact that maybe they purchased that item. I guess, were you saying purchase for themselves or purchase to flip?
No, for themselves. Like they went.
Okay, yes, but I'm guessing that's what I thought you meant. But I'm guessing they also probably purchased it to flip because it expanded their knowledge. And so then they saw it when they were out. That means more research being conducted around those tags, more listings. And if it's actually a popular item that's, not saturated and there's a lot of buyers, then that means more traffic on those items, you know what I mean? Because of a larger supply. Yeah. And like overall, that, especially if you are selling within a certain like style or niche, which I'm pretty sure you do, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, not everyone can, you can't sell everything, right? And I think most successful large resellers specialize in one category and even one platform for the most part, right?
Yeah, I think that's the easiest way to do it. A lot of people try and spread themselves way too thin, and then I like to master one thing.
Yeah, that way you can master the platform and the goods that you sell, which within that is finding them, sourcing them, storing them, shipping them, blah 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 blah. But within clothing, I feel like clothing is one of these categories that's like a Pandora's box. It's so big. You don't just sell clothing. No one's a master of, oh, I sell all kinds of clothing. I don't ever hear that. What I hear is like, oh, I sell jeans, and maybe you sell men's and women's jeans, but you sell jeans. You know what I mean? Or I sell shoes. You know what I mean? Or I sell dresses. Or like, oh, I do like Soho bohemian style. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a fashion dude, so for me, just can you eloquently say what I'm trying to say right here?
You want me to help you out here?
Help me out, please.
Saying that you're saying that clothing and fashion is such a broad, it's such a broad market that most people have niched down within that market, and that's really going to depend on where you live, what your resources are, what you're able to find. And so, like, I'm up in Portland, Oregon, so I find a lot of activewear, a lot of like Nikes, Columbia stuff. So that's mainly what you're going to see in my closet for sale. Now, someone who is in Texas is going to sell something totally different than what I'm selling. And so you're going to be able to learn about that a little bit better.
Right. Let's be super stereotypical and say that the person in Texas finds a lot more cowboy boots than you do at good
I don't find
prices.
any cowboy boots.
And cowboy hats.
Exactly.
Do you think there's any stores on Poshmark that specialize in cowboy fashion? So strictly cowboy hats, cowboy buckles, and cowboy shoes. That's it. Nothing else.
I bet there is. There better be a closet. If not,
dude, if not, get on it. Ride them, cowboy. That's awesome. So let's get into some now that we're warmed up, let's get into some tactics about Poshmark. Why do you like Poshmark more than eBay?
Okay, so I actually have some good data behind this. So Poshmark is still kind of a startup. If you guys don't know the background, I talked to a couple of the founders this weekend, and I learned some interesting facts about Poshmark. Poshmark has only been going for 8 years now, which is really new. 8 years, I've been doing this for 4 years on YouTube. I met you 4 years ago. That means that over half of that's less than half of our relationship has been half of what Poshmark has. 8 years is so new and so fresh. They're not even a public company yet. They're still privately held. They have so much growth. If you look at their place and I've always known this, but if you look at iTunes, they're usually within the top 5 in shopping apps, and they're always above eBay. And the other ones up there are usually, I think they're usually around 3 or 4. Number 3 or 4 in the shopping app, and they stay there consistently. So they're not going up and down. And it's really interesting to watch them. I talked to Manish, who's the CEO, and he was talking to me personally about how, in order to stay at that level on the iTunes store, you have to have really dedicated people who are following you, right?
Right.
And so for them, they have this really dedicated community base, and they're really able to gain traction. So last year in 2018, they did $1 billion in sales. People on the platform sold $1 billion. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. This year they did $2 billion.
Wow.
So in 1 year alone.
So basically, in more or less words, eBay is stagnating, and these young new companies are taking over. Or eBay, or are actually at least, doing things eBay isn't, and being in more touch with the community.
Right. So, the growth on Poshmark is amazing. They have 50 million users, 7 million are sellers, and eBay has 150 million. But if you look at that, Poshmark's only been here 8 years, and they
Yeah,
already
well,
have.
let's look at the platform itself. When you go on eBay, it looks like you're on Windows 95. Like it's a BBS message board. It's freaking terrible, right? Like we're still in AOL instant mail. Like obviously Poshmark is a lot newer, but for a tactical viewpoint, like from a user side point, my daughter shops on Poshmark, and I don't think she's ever purchased anything on eBay or Amazon. I could be wrong. If she did, it's more recent. But growing up, she's been purchasing stuff online since she was about 15, and since she had a debit card, no credit card, right? This is important. And she would start ordering stuff, and I'd see the packages show up, right? Because they all go through me, and it'd be like Redbubble, Poshmark, uh, Depop, or just like whatever it was,
Yeah.
like weird sites that I'm like, people shop on these. And I think that's another good sub note is that 4 years ago, we were like, we don't know what's happening with these other marketplaces. Now, what's happening. It's get on board. You know what I mean? But anyways, the thing that I realized with these platforms is they were pandering to younger consumers by letting them check out without using credit cards, without having to tie their bank account to the platform, making it very frictionless. So you can be on Poshmark and see something that you want to buy and just put your thumb on your fingerprint reader on your thing, or use your facial recognition thing to just boom, seal the deal. You click buy, scans your face, seal the deal. You can be a guest. You don't even have to be logged into the platform. Then put your debit card information in and you're done. Because guess what happens nowadays? People are very impulsive and their attention span is like 0.0 seconds. So people find something, they want to buy it. If they click on your item and they buy it, cool. They go on with their day. They bought your item. But if they click on your thing to buy it and something happens where now they got to like go log in or remember their password or go get their bank, like it's not going to happen. They don't want it that bad. You know what I mean?
Well, you
And
know what the other crazy thing is, Reese? So if you sell something on Poshmark, the money goes into your wallet. And so a lot of people, like a lot of teens, they don't even take the money out of their wallet. So they don't even need their parents' credit card to go shopping. They just sell something that they have in their closet that they don't want anymore. The money stays on the platform and they can buy what they want.
wow. So it's kind of like a financial institution. That's very
Yep.
interesting. I did not realize that. That is so interesting. Poshmark, you smart. You so smart, Poshmark.
It's so
That's so
smart.
smart. That is so smart. eBay. Are you listening, eBay? I feel like some of
Oh,
these
even
guys
I
might
do
be
it. Even I
watching.
do it because I'll be like, oh, I want that. And I'll be like, oh, well, there's money in my Poshmark. Like I'll, whatever. I don't have to use my
Right.
bank card. It doesn't feel like real money until it's in your bank, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Well, that's how digital money works. You know what I mean? That's why I always think,
Wild.
I mean, I love the beauty of technology that we're in, but like, have you ever had a large amount of cash in your hands? Like, I don't. It's random that we get a large amount of cash nowadays, but like, I don't know, maybe you did a yard sale and you have $500 or like whatever. Anyways, if you have a large amount of cash, you see the cash, it's right there. And you're like, oh, we got a big pile of cash, like let's go have some fun. Then the pile gets smaller and you're like, oh, we need to slow down on the fun. You know what I mean? But now when
Yeah.
when we're digital, like you said, it doesn't feel like real money. Just it's slippery. Just let it go all the way from the beginning to end. Like
Yeah. It's so crazy.
when I was on Italy, I was just my credit card was so slippery. Like halfway through the trip, I would put it out and I'd just be like, I'd like cover my eyes, they're like pay, and I just like put it out like this, like didn't get rejected. So, but that's how the actual consumer is in these platforms that are like newer and fresher and being more on top of the consumer behavior with better technology and processes, and younger people working for them that are analyzing like, oh, if we make the color 2 shades lighter, they make 0.5% more clicks, like move the button over here. And then eBay
Oh,
literally looks the same that it's looked for 20 years.
So, the people working at eBay, or not eBay, the people working at eBay are mostly like old white dudes. I'm not gonna lie, like I've met them. It's fine. But the people working at Poshmark are totally different. I was talking to Manish, and he was talking about like how they don't even necessarily care about education at Poshmark. Like one of his executives is a college dropout, like never finished college, came to Poshmark, and Manish saw something in him and hired him anyway because he doesn't necessarily like believe that education is the end all be all. And I thought that was really interesting that big tech companies are starting to feel that way, and they're bringing this like whole different side of things to their platforms because they have
Yep.
open minds.
Yeah, I mean it's always been about what you can do, you know what I mean? Not really what your piece of paper says, but there's always been these gatekeepers, you know what I mean? And now like
Yeah.
the younger people are taking over, and without, the old white guys, for lack of a better terminology, are moving out, you know what I mean? And younger, more multicultural people that are open to try different stuff, like just on any facet. Like people are still scared to put money into, Facebook ads. People are still plugging away on like the local radio or like billboards, and nobody looks at a billboard. Could, like, right now, 5 seconds, what's the last billboard you saw?
Oh, I saw some that was like "Don't have an abortion" when I was in Arizona, and it was very awkward, and that's why I remember it.
Well, I'm surprised you can even remember that. But if you guys are watching right now in the chat, tell me if you can remember the last billboard you saw, because I can't really remember it. I'm going to say it was some like cannabis ad that I saw from the freeway. And I go, oh shit, weed's legal. I forgot. Like I see a billboard. It's like not medical or nothing. It's just like, come get some weed. And I'm like, oh shit, weed's legal. I forgot. That's kind of weird. But for the most part,
Did
you know
you?
what I mean? Like no one's looking at that. Like I seen an
No
ad. I
one's
seen an ad that was on the sidewalk recently, and I was like, "You guys are smart as shit." For one, someone will sell you
same.
the advertising space on the sidewalk for next to nothing, and everyone's walking around with their neck craned down towards their phone. And then, this one was super simple and like in your face, but if you made it creative to where people wanted to take a picture with it, maybe it looked like you were falling into a hole or something. I don't know. But you get the idea. Like you got to adapt to consumer behavior, go where the attention's going. You can't just be like dun 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 for 15 years
And
in a
as
row.
a
It's not
like
the
as
it's
a
not going to work.
seller, no, and as a seller, I have to also watch behaviors and figure out what platforms are moving in the right direction, and I want to figure it out early on. And so for me, that's why moving to Poshmark was the right choice, because I saw them consistently doing better than eBay in so many ways. And I knew that I was still going to be an early adapter. I really am still an early adapter. They haven't been out that long. They're not public. Oh my God, Joseph.
Oh my God, what just happened?
Oh my God, Joe just came to the window over here and scared me.
Oh my God, I thought you were going to get murdered live on YouTube.
Joe, Reese thought I was getting murdered. Have a
Joe,
good
I
night.
need to apologize live on YouTube right now.
Oh my God, he left now. He just came to, fake murder me.
Wow, Joe, this is totally uncalled for. So, and you know what else is uncalled for, Joe? The romper you were wearing at Posh Fest, okay? I'm just saying.
Well, why weren't you there in one
Hood
with
pass
him?
revoked. I've never sold anything on Poshmark. I told you I can't go to Posh Fest until I sell a single item on Poshmark, and then I'm going to make a shirt that said I sold one item on Poshmark just so I could go to Posh Fest.
Let's talk about Posh
I've heard,
Fest.
I've heard it's super dope. Yeah. So can we go before we talk about Posh Fest? Can we briefly
Yeah.
talk about Poshmark?
Yeah. What
That
do you want to talk
let's
about?
let's talk about Poshmark. So a lot of people, if you're watching this, let me know if you guys have ever sold on Poshmark. I want to know right now, yes or no, if you've ever sold on Poshmark.
Can I
And
ask?
go ahead. Yeah.
I want to ask you. So do you even have you have your name at least over there, right? Like
Yeah, no,
you
I
have the
have a
Reezy
Poshmark with
account.
like a big, I don't know if it's big by Poshmark standards, but it's like, it's enough that it's not small, I guess. I don't know. I did put some stuff up there, and what's funny is this happened. I was like, I'm going to take these 10 items and I'm going to put them on Poshmark. I listed those 10 items. I swear to you, they were like stale eBay items that had never sold on eBay for like 6 months. I list them on Poshmark. The day after I list them on Poshmark, half of them sell on eBay. I shit you not. It was like eBay got jealous. So then I had to delete them off Poshmark, and then the other ones never sold. And eventually I was like, these things just suck. So I deleted them. So currently I have nothing listed in my closet. But you know how it is. I'm super busy, and that's not my bread and butter. So I can't focus on that. I'm
It's
doing
not really for you.
Amazon and books. That's my thing. Do you know how hard it is to learn clothing, guys? Props to anybody that just learned clothing. You're like, I'm just going to learn clothing. I'm going to be a reseller. I'm going to learn clothing. And you knew nothing about clothing. props to you, especially if you're a dude and you do chicks clothing, because it's just hard. But I think that everybody just goes to what they're like naturally inclined to, right? Like you just go with what you know. Like I started out with video games and electronics, but I was an avid reader. And when I found out about books and it was like technology based, you know, like using technology to find them, it all worked out. You know what I mean? But like, do you know what I mean? So like you're into fashion, right? Women are into fashion. I don't want to stereotype women as being into fashion, but like there's way more women clothing resellers than men clothing resellers, right? Am I right?
Right. No, there definitely is. So Posh Fest had 1,600 attendees and 70 of them were men.
70?
70. And that was more than they've ever had. That's more than they've ever had there.
Hold on. I'm going to do that math real quick. Wow. 4.3% of the sellers. I'm just going to assume that's of the platform, I guess. That should be a good slice of the pie, right? Less than 5% of Posh sellers are men. That's crazy.
And a lot of those men who bought tickets were just there with like significant others. Like,
wow. So think about this real quick. I know we're super derailing, but whatever. It's my show. The 5% male, less than 5% male Poshmark seller ratio, combined with what we just said earlier about with you sell what you know, right? Must mean that there's a shortage of men's fashion on Poshmark.
And they're working on that. Yeah.
Right? Because if only 5% of the sellers are men and most people sell what they know, that must mean that there's not a ton of men's fashion on there.
I just don't think that there's a lot of men who sell fashion. So like, I just don't even think like men, when they get into reselling, they usually don't even sell clothes in general.
Right.
So there's lots of men's fashion on Poshmark, but women are selling it.
Well, I feel like obviously men's fashion has always been a thing, but I feel like it's having like a moment right now with like all the hype and all the streetwear and how popular it is. You know what I mean? Like rich white kids paying ridiculous prices for, 3 times price for some stuff, paying $150 for a bummy looking t-shirt just because it has a large silk screen and it's from the 90s.
So
but they got $300 shoes on, you know what I mean? And then they got $300 jeans on that are freaking look like the factory chewed them up and spit them back out, and they paid $300 for them. Do you know what I mean? That's fashion.
Poshmark said 80% of men's sales are sneakers on the platform. So even out of all the men's stuff they have on the platform, what's selling best is sneakers, which makes sense.
Even more so, that just means that there's room for even more stuff. I mean, I'm a super simple dude, but I mean, I've been married for almost 20 years now and I'm 35. So I feel like I kind of lax down on the fashion a little bit, but like a lot of dudes are out there, looking their best every single day. You know what I mean? And they're, everyone wants to save a buck. Like, didn't Poshmark start out as women's only and then phase in men's clothing?
I actually talked to Manish, who's the CEO. I had like a one-on-one with him. We kind of like had some talk, and he was talking about men. So I went to this party that they hosted that was just for the men at Poshmark, and I went because they said I could go, so I went. And it was interesting because Manish was saying like, yeah, this is like more men than we've ever had, and he was the one who brought it to the board of directors just a couple of years ago and said like, hey, can we I want to start selling men's stuff. And everyone said no, but he fought for it super hard. Like, no, we need to bring men's stuff to the platform. And now it's growing at twice the rate than the women's clothing is growing. But I mean, that's a skewed situation, right? You can't just say like, oh, men's is growing twice as fast as women. Well, that's because it's kind of new to the platform. It's going to plateau at some point, just like women's kind of has. But it's growing super fast right now. So there definitely is that opportunity. If you know menswear, you should be putting it on Poshmark. I know there's a lot of people who don't put menswear on Poshmark, but you absolutely should be.
Whenever there's white space, you know what I mean? That's where you want to go. There's always, there's less traffic, but you have to understand there's way less competition as well. And the traffic should be coming. And there's always that sweet spot where like yeah, there's less traffic now, but there's also less competition. At some point, it's going to tip and the traffic's going to come in, and the competition's not going to come in until later, like when it's really, really obvious. And if you're there first, you're going to have a huge first mover advantage, which doesn't just always mean like converting all the traffic by yourself or making more sales or whatever. It might mean that and building your store up, getting a bazillion reviews on a new platform before everyone else tries to get in. Now your listings get special privilege because your store got a bazillion stars or whatever the algorithm of that platform
And that is
is.
why so what you said right now is why I went full time on Poshmark, and I'm hitting it super hard this year because I know that's about to happen. They're going to go public either this year or next year. And that means that things are going to grow fast. And if you're not selling on, like, go tomorrow and start pushing Poshmark. People say, oh, I can't make the same amount of money as I make on eBay. I did, like, almost exactly the same year after year. I didn't see any growth, but that's fine because it was a brand new thing. I shouldn't have even seen the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah. How hard is it to get set up and start selling on Poshmark?
100 times easier than selling on eBay.
So how does it work? Like if right now, if I didn't have a Poshmark account and I wanted to set one up, how do I do that?
So
Download the app.
Download the app, or you can do it on the computer now. You don't even need the app anymore. It asks you a few basic questions and you have your closet. So there's no seller standards there right now. So it's not like eBay where it's like, oh, we limit you to 10 listings your first month. Like there's no seller standards. Anyone can do it. They don't charge you for your listing. So all listings are free. They take 20% of your final sell. But if you look at eBay, like you get charged for the listing, you charge the PayPal fee, you get charged the eBay fee, like it kind of equals out. And they do all the customer service. There's no returns.
Wow. No returns is huge because that's a lot. I feel like that was the nail in the coffin for eBay when they forced people to take returns. Then a lot of people that like sped up the whatever it's called, the exodus to Poshmark.
Yeah, I mean, returns are huge, right? So things can get returned if you mess up, right? Like if I sent something out with a big old stain, I didn't tell the customer the stain, they can open up a case, of course. But Poshmark denies people's cases all the time. Someone bought a blazer jacket for me a couple days ago. They opened up a case. They said it had a flaw. I had noted that flaw in the listing, and Poshmark straight was like, no, she noted that flaw. You're not returning this.
Right. That's amazing. I love that. I love that because I mean, I obviously love, as a customer being able to return something on Amazon, right? But, I was just, out, in New York City with a bunch of people. And, I overheard people talking about casually like, oh, just buy it off Amazon and return it when you get back, And I was like, I'm not mad at anyone for getting Amazon. It's Amazon. You know what I mean? They got insurance, but I was just thinking of it as general consumer behavior on platforms and myself being a seller. You know what I mean? It's like how I feel when I hear people say they called in sick to work and they weren't really sick. I'm like, that ain't cool, bro. I have employees. You know what I mean? I'm like, we in high school. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it's a little bit too far. Like the way Amazon is, it's like we have to just take it up the rear. We have to give returns and refunds. We can't even control it. There's nothing behind it. It's just like, yes, sorry. You didn't even do anything wrong. You know what I mean? Because we're so worried that everything's going to get shut down on us and it's automatic or whatever, that I really appreciate, a platform like sticking up for us a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Poshmark does so many like seller friendly things. So customers have to pay shipping. So if you buy something, you pay shipping on it. And the way it works is it's like $6.95 or something flat rate for like whatever, whether it's like up to 5 pounds, and the customer pays that. And then Poshmark just sends you a label, and you can put that label on any USPS box, like any box or bag, doesn't matter. So it's so simple. If you're like a new seller and you're super worried because shipping can be confusing, you don't need to be confused. They email you the label, you print it, you put it on whatever box you want to use, and you ship it out.
It's amazing because how hard it is, like for the average person to ship something from home. It's so hard. Like I'm sorry, but like it just drives me crazy. All of you people, like friends and family members and associates or whatever, who aren't actually resellers and don't ship stuff from home for a living, you guys are the people that like have had something to ship me for a year, for 2 years. It's sitting on your desk. It's sitting next to your desk. You can't pick it up, walk over to your computer and figure out how to print a PayPal label or go to the post office. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't get it. It's hard for me to even remember. I feel like I was born knowing how to ship packages, but
Right.
it's important for
But
it to
so
be easy for the seller. I mean, for the new seller, because I realize the average person is just like, they just don't get it, you know?
no, I mean, and you can use flat rate boxes. So even like a large flat rate box, you can still use Poshmark's label on it. Like they have like this great deal with the post office.
Where you could use
So
flat rate boxes even though it's not flat rate postage.
yeah, it's just wild. It's just wild. So it just makes it's so user friendly. And the other thing is like you share on Poshmark. So you have to go through and you share your items. And every time you share your item, it goes to the top of the brand search. So if someone searches free people and I just shared like a free people item, it's right at the top. And so instead of like eBay where you have to pay to like promote your listings to get them up there, Poshmark, the seller controls it. So you pay with your time, right? So like every time I share, it takes some of my time,
Right.
but you're in control of that. So honestly, I know if I just don't do anything on Poshmark, I'm not really making any money. But then last night I was like, oh, I need to get some work in. So I went and I shared and I sent offers to people and I ended up making it was $371 in 2 hours because I just sat there and I put the work in. So you
Right.
control how much you make way more than on any other
Because
platform.
there's no algorithm on Poshmark yet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. That makes a lot of
Beautiful.
sense. So there's no algorithm. Everything is showing up in a linear order. You're trading your time to promote your listings. Let's talk about that a little bit because the sharing aspect on Poshmark is so much different than any other thing. Personally, I'm just going to say it right off the bat. I think it's the dumbest shit ever, that you have to share it to get it up there. But the way you set it right now with, you know, that's how you control like how it comes up to the top of the, I mean, obviously you're going to want to share it. It makes it show up to the top, but I thought about like, oh, maybe Poshmark like engineered it like that to keep the sellers active and on the platform so they could, because you're sharing it, then people are messaging you, you're
Mm-hmm.
talking to them, you're right there. That means they're getting quicker responses from sellers. Because these platforms aren't stupid. They do these things because they're trying to get us to perform in a certain way, like financially incentivize us to create a better platform. But basically you share it, you press share, it shows up in the feed, and you can do that like how often for every item?
I can do it every 5 minutes.
So every item can get shared once every 5 minutes.
Well, no, there's no time. Sorry, if I was being like, there's no time. I can just share the same item over and over and over and over and over again if I wanted
Okay,
to.
right. And so is there a point where you are annoying people by sharing, or how does it work?
So you're
Or do
not
people
so
not
you
even know?
so there's two different sections of Poshmark. So there's like your feed section. So all the people you follow on Poshmark when they share, it shows up in the feed. However, the feed has an algorithm. So the feed is, and no one ever shops from the feed. The feed is kind of junk, in my opinion. But when you shop on a site, usually you search for something, right? So I'm
Okay.
searching free people top. So when I'm sharing my free people top, it's going to the top of that brand search. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's where where it really comes into play. So you're not necessarily annoying anyone because most people are only searching once or twice, so they're not really
So yeah,
seeing
yeah,
their item go.
right. So what you're saying is, and also there's so many people posting so much stuff, you're not likely to, even if you post it back to back 5 minutes free people, there probably was a bunch of people that posted within that 5 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Cool. So essentially you want to just sit there and share everything all day long.
Exactly. And there's a lot of services out there that you can pay for. I actually used a service when I was at Posh Fest for those couple days because I knew I wouldn't have time to share my closet.
Is it
So I
legit?
used,
Like approved by the
yeah,
platform?
it's not approved by the platform, but it's like a woman and she has, she uses college interns and they like share for her. So I didn't pay. We like did a exchange and it was
Yeah, yeah.
five,
So
it
it's
was
like
like $5
hiring
shares.
real humans.
It's VAs essentially,
Yeah.
hiring
Because I
VAs.
do remember people were like even frowning against that. And there's this weird culture in reselling. Like there's these people that are like they want to like follow the rules so tightly. And my focus has always been to make money. I could give a shit what platform we're on, right? Like let's make money, whoever is doing it right. And if we're bending the rules a little bit, who cares as long as we're not being evil and we have the customer's best interests in mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, there's no rules that you can't use another human. There's rules against using bots. So, like, if you
But I
wrote
mean, but
something,
even then, I mean, I have no
yeah,
moral qualms against using a bot myself, but I understand that it's not allowed. But those same
right.
people that are like, "Oh, that's disgraceful. You used a bot. Breezy's trash. He used a bot." If they found out, if I did, and they found out, they still have disdain for having other people do it for you, or probably even the thing that you just said right now. And it's like, yo,
Yeah.
it's just a business, and we're just trying to make money. Like, if you want to run a one person thing and do it yourself like that forever, cool. But don't think everyone else has to. You know what I mean? Like if I want to pay
Well,
my
like,
kid, if I want to teach Luna, who's 7, how to share my Poshmark closet and then pay her $2 every time she shares the closet, I'm gonna do that.
and
and,
you should.
and who are
So
you to tell me anything, or my neighbor's kid or whatever, like I'm
people
just
are
trying
just
to be
always mad
efficient.
at something. People are just mad. It's everyone wants to say like, well, you only did 100,000 in sales because you had XYZ, and it's like, no, I did that because I made good business decisions and I worked really hard, and some of those business decisions are by letting some of the work go because you can't do it all yourself.
Right. Someone right here are talking about if I guess saying you could get your account throttled by Posh if you share too much. But I would they say like tens of thousands of shares a day. So that would be like crazy bot action. But someone else was saying oh man, I lost it. Put your question back up there. I lost it on the chat. Let's see.
Oh, so print on demand. So we talked about this a little bit
So
before.
they were talking about Google indexing your Poshmark listings.
Yeah.
What do you
Where
like?
that?
I mean, obviously, it's like a huge thing, right? Because there's traffic that comes from Google. People are on Google
Hmm.
searching free people top, and then
So
like what comes up
that's
first? Do eBay listings come up above Poshmark listings, or
nope.
Poshmark above eBay, or how does it work?
Poshmark almost always comes up before eBay, and even before I was selling on Poshmark, I was noticing that. And so it's interesting because if my friend broke it down, she like writes code, and I don't understand this completely, but she showed me. So you can see where Google's pulling from if you look at the code on a page. You know how you can like pull the code out of a page? And then apparently she showed me like, okay, so on Poshmark, Google is pulling from XYZ, and she could read exactly the code of where it was pulling from. And so on Poshmark, where they're pulling from is just the title. So the title is like the most important thing in your listing.
Yeah,
So
if it's getting
Google,
indexed by Google. Smash the like button real quick, guys. We have 144 people viewing and only 58 people have smashed the like button. If you guys appreciate the time that we're spending with you here, please smash the like button. It doesn't take too much of your energy, and it does many great things for the video and sharing it out to other people, which not only helps me, but helps more people like you. So smash that like button.
do that, please. Like this video.
Like it or die. No, I'm just kidding. Don't die.
I'll send Joe out to jujitsu you.
Uh, put you in an arm bar. So, where were we at, or what? Let's talk about, because we're running on 45 minutes now, and I only want to do about an hour. I don't want to take too much of your time, and I'm trying not to do 2-hour shows anymore because I don't think people have that kind of energy. But you were telling me something very interesting, upcoming platform changes for Poshmark that were announced at PoshFest. Can we talk about
Yes, I
some of
really
those?
want to talk about this.
All right,
And
boom. Watch the
hopefully,
title switch. Watch the title switch. Okay, now we can do PoshFest 2019
Ocean.
recap. Officially 2019 recap.
Okay, 2019 recap. So Poshmark, every Poshfest, they announce like what they're bringing new to the platform, right? It's called like hackathon. And so they're bringing some basic stuff that I don't really care about. But the big thing that I care about that they're bringing is they're bringing in video. And when you say like, oh, they're bringing in video, you think, oh, they're bringing video to the listings. No, they're not doing that. So you need to understand this before you break down if this is good or not. Poshmark's biggest competition is not like eBay or a site like that. It's actually Instagram. So that's who, and this is from someone high up. This is from a VP at Poshmark. This is what he told me like directly, is when they're looking at competition, they're looking at places like Instagram, because Poshmark is a social site. People are very social on the site. They're sharing all the time. Poshmark on average is opened 8 times a day and used for 27 minutes in total. And those are Instagram stats if you look at it, right?
Right.
So people on average are opening up the app 8 times a day. That's a lot.
I mean, I really like the I know you probably can go on for a million years. Let me put this in here though real quick. What you just said real quick about Poshmark being a social platform. And I know I've heard that before, but for some reason it just clicked to me, and it clicked in my head as, oh, it's not the next eBay. It's more like YouTube than it's like eBay, in a way that it's a social platform that allows people to make money doing something. Wow.
Yes.
I kind of
And
just had a
so
mind blown moment right now. I was like, wow,
yeah.
they wrapped up reselling into a thing. And now it's more like, because on eBay, you know what I mean? You can sell stuff, you can build a great store, but it's like they can't see you. You know what I mean? It's not like a real store when you walk in and you're like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Oh, how was that party last weekend? You know what I mean? Oh, I love your dress. Like, oh, you have kids,
Yeah.
I have kids, or you got a dog, I got a dog. Like, well, I love German Shepherds. Like, you can't
They're
relate to your
changing that.
customer on eBay because it's really cold. It's like a very non-dynamic thing. It's not like real life. You have, but with social aspect wrapped around reselling, get to know the person. It's the same reason why I like Facebook Marketplace a million times better than Craigslist. Because before I go and buy something, I can look at Facebook and be like, oh, this guy's not a freaking creepy murderer. He's got a wife and 3 kids. Somebody loves him. People are dealing with him. Like, he's not a weirdo. Cool. Let's go make the deal. And as a result, there's less Craigslist bullshitters and less time wasting. Do you know what I mean? So it's
Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
It just hit me already.
All right. So I was with my friend Voyage is a Verb. They just jumped into your chat too. And when we learned about this, we freaked out. So they're adding video, but they're not just adding video to your listings. They're adding in stories that are shoppable. So when you open up your Posh app now, which people do on average 8 times a day, 27 minutes a day, they're going to be able to view their favorite seller stories, right? So they can view my stories, and they can just be like Instagram stories where I'm just doing whatever I want, but hashtags will be involved. And if I say oh, hey, I have this scrunchie, I'm listing this scrunchie right now, they can shop the scrunchie directly from my story. They can just click on it and buy it.
You're such a VSCO girl with your scrunchies.
Someone gave me this at Poshmark. Thank you.
I'm just kidding. So that's amazing. You know what? The first thing I thought of when you told me that earlier, because I'm not going to lie, we talked before we were on the show, and so that was me pretending to have heard it the first time, is I thought about live video, and I thought about things like QVC, and I don't know if you've seen it yet, but is there anyone in your area that's like selling via live streaming on Facebook into the local buy-sell trade groups?
There is I feel like a lot of MLMs do that.
So I know a lady, she does jewelry, and once a week she'll go live, and because I'm in all the groups and she broadcasts it to all the groups, she goes for 3 hours and she's just talking and showing the jewelry and close up and shining lights on it. She's like, this is number 42. If you guys want it, comment 42 in the chat.
Is that how she sounds?
Yeah, I'm dead serious, but she's obviously making money. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, that's pretty much QVC. People are getting it. You know what I mean? And that has to be coming out to Poshmark, right? That just makes sense. If you're going to do stories, live is the next thing.
Yeah, and so in Japan, that's a big thing. There's an app in Japan, I forget the exact name of it. It's huge, and that's what people are doing. It's the QVC, but there's all these social people who are selling directly all day long. So Poshmark is bringing that, and I think a lot of people their reactions were not positive to this. I haven't seen a lot of positive reactions. They're like, "Oh, that's stupid, whatever. That how is that going to help our business?" I am excited because I think
Well,
it's a huge
yeah,
deal.
I'll tell you right now, it's amazing, and it's because people are having an old mindset. Those are the same people that are having an eBay mindset with Poshmark, when in the reality, Poshmark is more like YouTube with the ability to sell stuff. You know what I mean? In my experience, especially with the way they're going and what you're saying, and this is what's going to happen. We already know, everybody knows, if you model your clothing, you get more sales. You know what I mean? Like flat lays are great because they're just so quick to do, but photos on mannequin sells way better. Photos on real people sells even better than mannequin, right? Like, and it's even a thing on some of these micro platforms, like on Depop. You have to put the clothing on to sell it. That's just what everybody does. It's
Mm-hmm.
your Depop account wearing your clothes that you don't want anymore. Thumbs in your pockets, like, hey, here's my Grateful Dead shirt, $12, whatever. That's what it's all about. And that's going to go into Poshmark, to where you're not going to list your dress in your closet. You're going to put your dress on. You're going to do a twirling boomerang of it on the story, and it's going to be swipe up to buy it from my closet. And that's
Yep.
going to sell the shit out of that dress more than any picture ever.
And the most successful people are going to be the people
God
who
damn it.
bring their
I got to
lifestyle
interrupt
into it.
you again. They're probably going to
Yes,
have
Susie.
stories based around search words, like how Instagram does.
They
So
are. Yep.
there'll be a story for like free people. So you search free people and you're looking at these dresses, but there's already like a story that for stuff that's related to free people dress. And if you click on that, it'll be everybody in that sells on Poshmark who has a story with a free people dress in it. Boom. There you go.
There.
Because
That.
you'll be
That's.
tagging the
Yep.
products, and the products are categorized with all kinds of data already, by size, by style, by blah, blah, blah. So Jesus Christ, and have all the data on the buyers too. So the buyers will look up free people. They'll be delivered a story, which consists of story style content, but in that video will only be stuff in their size. That's
Yep.
actually
And
what,
that's why. So
holy shit, that
they have
increases the
cards.
conversion by banana stature.
Racy, it's huge. It's huge. They have the card when you're a buyer, you have to put in like your size. They do like these little buyer cards, right?
Right.
And
That's
so
like
they have all my info.
That's like walking into a store, right? Imagine you walk into a
Mm-hmm.
retail store, everything in the store fits you. It's all your size. You don't have to
It's
look at any tags,
huge.
it's all your size. That's fucking sick. I
Yep.
love this. I love
So
this.
the best, you have to be an early adopter to this because people are going to start. There's going to be like whole. There's going to be influencers now on Poshmark, and so you need to do this from day one. I heard that it will be out before Christmas, so get ready. Like from day one, you need to be putting your stories up every single day, and you need to make it fun. You need to be a character. You need to get a following. Like you want people to watch your stories not just because they want to shop from you, but because you're like an interesting person that they want to follow along with. So start thinking about how you're going to portray yourself in your store right now, because the early adopters are going to do really well with this.
Right. Someone in the chat was like, "Yeah, but I shop at the bins. That shit doesn't fit me." I get it. That doesn't, you're not going to be able to model everything, right? But
Mm-hmm.
just a note out there, if you can, I believe, those pictures of real models on them, it just looks so much more truer to real life. It just gets more sales. But obviously,
And
if you're not a triple X
yeah,
and you're not a triple X, just fold that sucker up, measure it, and fold it up.
I won't be able to show everything in my story. Sometimes I list 100 things a day, but you show your best things in your stories, and you show people the hauls, even if it's on a hanger, and you
Right.
talk
Well,
about it, and you
I'm sure
feel
they're
it, and
gonna
you
let
touch it.
you go from camera roll too, right? And so you'll
Yep.
have that content saved up until the items sell. So you'll probably just have a
Mm-hmm.
folder in your phone for like Poshmark content, and you'll just keep it in there. And as stuff sells, you can like delete it out of that folder, and it will be like the boomerang you made of you swirling it around in the mirror, the close-up video that shows the tag and the texture, and you just talking about or whatever. You know what I mean? And then boom, just throw it. Like maybe they even let you associate, because when you post it to your story for the first time, you'll tag the product. Maybe they associate it on the back end as that story clip with that product. And then later you can share it back to the story without having to actually put the video up again, because it knows that video is for that product.
Yep, and I heard that there will
Boom.
be more phases rolling out. So like the first phase is going to be pretty generic. You're going to get to do hashtags. I'm sure brands will be like you're saying, But there will be more phases that are going to roll out with this. And I think one of them will probably be what you're saying, where it's like attached to the listing for later on too.
It's very smart too. I don't know if they plan on doing this, but it opens up the opportunity for them to very natively position brand ads for clothing within the app. So imagine in the story, it's your free people thing, your free people thing, your free people thing. Then the fourth thing, if someone watches more than 3 free people user clips, is an ad they sold to free people. And it's like a 10-second story clip from free people. And the swipe up goes to freepeople.com, not to Poshmark. Or maybe they make free people have a Poshmark store, then that's part of the deal or whatever. You know what I mean? But lots of
I think you're
interesting
right.
stuff.
And again, they're not looking at other reselling platforms right now. They're looking at Instagram and places like that, because Instagram's trying to bring, shopping on Instagram, and they really want to do that before them, from my understanding. And so start thinking of it more as a social platform and not just a reselling platform. And really, like, I want to be an influencer on Poshmark. I want to get, 100,000 followers, and I want, 30,000 people to watch every story I put up because I'm interesting and I have value to add. So don't just think of it as like, oh, I'm going to show a clip of a dress. Like,
Yeah, well,
you
don't
gotta,
think you can't. You got to think about the future, right? Don't think about right now. You know there's opportunity. You know some stuff's happening, but you need to be thinking fourth dimensionally, McFly. You need to think about Poshmark TV. What about when they roll out Poshmark TV, where it's like QVC and it's Poshmark TV, and it's in app or in a separate app or whatever, and it's more like, you could do a 60-minute live show every day. You could do a live haul every day, like we were saying about on the Facebook thing, like built into it. Oh, whoop-de-whoop, now they got to deal with Netflix or with Amazon Video. Now the Poshmark TV's on Netflix or on Amazon Video. Now they just opened up however many million customers from Amazon Video or Netflix onto the Poshmark TV shopping. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the type of shit I think about. Is there shopping on Netflix or on Amazon Video? Do they have QVC style stuff? And if they don't, what better way to do it than to let users generate the content? And because it's financially generated, it's automatically going to be relevant.
So Breezy, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So say you were going to like start getting into this, and because you really want to become like an influencer on the platform, like, do you think I'm right with that? Like, do you think that what I'm saying is correct? Is that you really want to make sure you're getting your following, and you're not just like showing these like one-off things, but you're also showing yourself? And like,
I mean, I think so, because what I've learned from you about how much of your YouTube audience becomes your eBay audience. So obviously you're making YouTube videos to teach people how to do eBay and whatnot like that, or to be a reseller. But a good side effect of that is that people just buy the stuff you show them. You know what I mean? So to me, that demonstrates the value right there. Do you know what I mean? But you were having to do it on 2 different platforms. Now you're going to be able to do it on one platform. You know what I mean?
and
like
so think
all
about
in.
that.
Yeah, and
Maybe
then
like
and
you
then
have,
maybe Poshmark has ads too that they sell. Everyone has ads eventually, guys. Then Poshmark's going to have ads, and then your shows are going to, the same stuff you do on YouTube, like how to, how to identify proper selvage Levi's. You know what I mean? Like, that would do well on Poshmark because the customers want to know how to do that. Do you know what I mean?
and
Like, not
also,
necessarily for reselling or for reselling or whatever, but it just like, it transcends. Everyone buys stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if you found something today and like, I don't know, you found a vintage Wu-Tang hoodie and you could sell it for $100. But I saw, before you posted it, I saw it and I DM'd you. I probably would. And I'd be like, yo, Nicole, sell me that hoodie for $50. And you'd be like, damn it, Reezy, I really don't want to, but okay, I'll sell it to you for $50. You know what I mean? Like, and that could be important to your business model, because maybe that allows you to turn stuff over faster. And maybe it's not just me with the one Wu-Tang sweater, but it's 30 of the 100 items that you bought that day. People bought them right out of your DM for 30 or 40% less than you would have sold it, but you did 300% less work. You know what I mean?
I do that all the time.
Right, and that's valuable for your business model.
Yeah, someone picked up a pair of shoes at my house last night that she saw in a video and was like, hey, I just get them? I live down the street. And I was like, yeah, come and buy them. Gave me cash. I didn't have to do like a ton of work. So there's value in a ton of it. And I think that you got to figure out who you're going to be on Poshmark, because now you're really going to be a brand and people are going to be able to watch you. And They want to see, what if I did like, I'm going to do a Poshmark tip once a day. People are going to come and watch that tip and then also watch the rest of my stories at the same time and see what
Right,
I'm
and
putting
then
up.
and that makes even more sense why you have to like niche your store and have a style about it because people shop your style. Like my aunt is a vintage clothing dealer since forever, whenever, way back. She doesn't use internet or anything. I don't think she's ever sold anything online ever.
Oh,
But
yeah.
her whole style, it's everything she sells, it's like her style. It's like what she likes. And it's like
Yeah.
I'm like dumbfounded. Like I don't even know. She just picks it up and she's like, this is like from this year, and I could sell this for this much, or like let's make this into a skirt. And I'm like, how? Like what? Like how do you know? It's like the tag is like the tag's gone. And I'm like, Lord, there's no tag. What do I do? And she's like, ooh, I love it when there's no tag. Like that means it's worth more money, like it's just insane. And so, but it's just like she had a store and it would be packed full of like all this sick stuff. And because it's her style, people love to come. They come once a week to see what she got in that's new because they know the stuff that she curates. You know what I mean? Just those people find you. You curate a collection regularly. The people who like it will find you. And that's,
Absolutely.
maybe they're not like listening to your Poshmark tips or your whatever, but through that, they just know your voice and they get to feel like they hang out with you more. And they're like, she's a nice person, so they buy it from you because that's how we're going. The internet is giving us all this opportunity to reach far, but at the same time, we're humans and we do what we always done, which is just communicate. And we got like this, even though it's big, it's back to like small village. You know what I mean? It's like
Absolutely.
10 years ago, you could just go buy my jeans. And then like if the price was right and everything, cool, you'd buy them. But now that doesn't work anymore. And instead, you want to buy some jeans and your friend sells jeans. So you call your friend, hey, Nicole, you got any jeans? And then you develop a customer base and when you find some new jeans in this size, that person wants, you know what I mean? Like I don't sell
Yeah.
clothing, uh, Vogue Squared, Josh McEllery, he knows if he finds a dope Hornets retro hat, he knows who's going to buy it. He doesn't have to list it. Just call
Yeah.
me up. I'm going to buy it every time.
And I have those customers too. And it's like, we have to build that up. And I really think that stories on Poshmark, so many people are afraid of it. I really hope that every single person jumps on this and realizes how valuable it is and how it's like the first of its kind in the US. No one else in the US is doing this. And it's so smart. And build up your Poshmark store now before the stories happen. And like he was saying, you can start saving these clips now that you want to put up. They're going to be 15-second long clips. You can start making them now as you're building your store up. And if it's coming before Christmas, like that's like 6 weeks away or some crazy stuff at this point. Maybe more like 8 or something. But still, like we're in fourth quarter. It's coming soon.
How is fourth quarter for used clothing specifically? It does really well, or I mean, I figured I don't buy
No.
a ton of used clothing, but I figured, I mean, I do go to the thrift store myself, but I don't shop online for used clothing so much. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but I just figured it's kind of like the icky factor is real prevalent in Christmas times. Everyone wants new shit sealed in plastic. They want to see the price tag. You know what I mean? Like if you give someone something on Christmas and it's not sealed, I feel like they feel like you regifted it. You know what I mean? Like, is that
Well,
a
and
thing?
I think there's a lot of like movement in the women's fashion to where secondhand clothing market is growing faster than like most markets, and it's a little bit different now, but people still will buy new. So you want to make sure you have some new stuff in your store. Make sure you're putting new stuff in your store, and then when people are going to your store and they're finding that new stuff, they're also like maybe they're like, oh, that shirt, I like that for myself. I'm buying this for someone else. I'll buy this for myself. Like kind of mix it up. It's not a great fourth quarter. It's nothing special and magical to me.
Right.
January, February, and March are probably my best months.
Yeah. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Have new stuff. People will pick up used stuff for themselves while they're getting the new stuff. One thing that's really cool with Poshmark is offers, and they did that before eBay did, right? eBay kind of copied
Yeah.
them. So
eBay copied it
can
off.
you explain what offers is, how it works, and how you use it to make the most money possible?
Yeah, so offers to likers is how I make the majority of my sales. So when you're sharing your item, people can like the item in your store. They like, put a little heart next to it. And then you can send out an offer to them. So say you have something priced at $30, you can send out a $25 offer and they get an email. or a notification if they have notifications turned on right on their phone. So they look at their phone and they remember, oh, that's right, I like that item, and now she's going to give me a better price. I'm going to go buy it. And it will say like, when you send that offer, it also says like, and 10 other people like this item. So it also gives you that like, oh,
Wow,
I need to get it before
incentivizes
those
it.
people.
And how much
Yeah.
do you generally drop it by to make it like what's an amount? What's your default amount you do and what it works generally?
People won't like this answer, but I usually do at least 25 to 50%. So I like to send out like but my margins are there. I buy everything at the
Right.
bin.
That's
So
kind of what I heard with Poshmark is price high, so that you
yeah,
can recoup, so that when you do
Be,
your offer, you end up kind of more or less where you wanted to be anyways.
well, think about it, because if they liked it when it was at that high price, like they're in
Right.
it. Like if they took the
Well,
time to click the button
also
and say
real
they
quick,
like it.
let's educate people because they don't know. At least last time I
Oh,
looked
yeah.
on Poshmark, the way it is for the consumer, for the customer when they're shopping, when they see a used Columbia jacket, it has the retail brand new price pictured and then slashed out, and then it shows your list price. Correct? Is that how it works?
So the seller puts that price in though. So for most of
Okay.
my items, I just put zero because you have to research and like kind of figure out what it is.
Right.
Um, But they did say at PoshFest that if you put like an actual price in there, the
Like
percentage
some
of,
kind of percentage of more conversions. What did they say?
yeah,
10,
so
5%,
it was a
10%?
lot. It was like 20 or something. It was a higher
Wow.
percentage.
I, I
So I
I'm
need
not
to do that.
surprised. I expect it to be higher, guys. So we're kind of like paraphrasing the talk or whatever, but what it is you can put in the original MSRP and your listed used Poshmark price. And it's very psychological the way they display it on the marketplace. They show the original price slashed out, and I think it looks like someone drew it on there, and then
Hmm.
boom, your price. And psychologically, it just looks so much better than imagine like I don't know, some Birkenstocks used for like $25 on eBay. There's like 800 pairs of Birkenstocks and they all say $25, $22, 20. It just looks like a pile of shitty Birkenstocks. But on Poshmark, you see 22, and I've never bought brand new Birkenstocks, so I have no idea what they cost. But what do they cost? Like $100?
Yeah, like
Birkenstocks,
120.
120. Okay, yeah, you'll see a clean 120 slashed out, and then you'll see not 28 on eBay. You're gonna put like 45, and you'll be like, you sell them for 45 on Poshmark when you would have had to sell them for 28 on eBay, or
Hmm.
even more. Maybe you put them like you put 60, and then people offer you, and you end up selling them for 45, but it's still way more than the 28 on eBay. But it's just psychological price perception. I feel like that really helps.
Well, and the other thing I like to do, I have a video on this, and you guys should all go watch it. So I did $1,700 in sales in 48 hours using this method, which is like way more than I do on a normal basis. So what I do is I go through and I look at all the people who have liked like a bundle, right? So like if someone has liked more than one item in my store, I'll go and I'll put it in, you can bundle those items together for them and then send them out a private offer. So say they like 2 or 3 items and the total for those items was $75, I can go in and send them a $45 offer, and I can write them a letter. So I can write them a little note and I can say, hey, I saw your shop in my store. Thank you so much for checking it out. I went ahead and bundled and gave you a discount. If you have any questions, like let me know, because people want to interact with you.
Right, and that's a good touch point. You could even say like, "Oh, those that dress and those two tops you picked out will go great together."
Yeah, there's like so many ways you can do it. And I can also run sales in my store. So I'll do like a bundle 3 for $20 because again, I pay like 50 cents an item. So if they like one of those items that's in my sale, I'll share it to their bundle and then I'll leave them a message and be like, hey, in case you didn't know, you can get 3 items for $20 if it has that symbol next to it. And I make so many sales doing that. It's kind of crazy. Just letting people know, like, hey, you can get a really good deal if you want to go look through the rest of my shop. And that
Right.
doesn't, most people are like, well, they're only buying the cheap stuff. And that's not what happens. They look through the rest of my shop and they find other things they like and they throw it in the bundle. And there I'm making, $60, $70 sales all day long because of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And let's real quick, let's add some numbers to help outline this. Nicole sells used clothing mostly, all on Poshmark. Average cost of goods is about 50 cents because you buy it by the pound from the bins, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And your average sell price per item on Poshmark is what?
I think it's right around $18.
Okay. See, I think it's important to illustrate that because a lot of people don't understand, what it takes or what the reality is, you know what I mean? But I know,
Hmm.
as you do well know yourself, you can always make a living if you're willing to put the work in. There's always that quarter to $10, that 1 to 10, 1 to 15, you know what I mean? And like really that's what you're doing. I love your business model is like it's super grimy, but it just works.
Everyone can do it. And so the thing is, I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time that I can go out and source. So I have to go to the bins. I have to go for like 3 or 4 hours and come back with 100 pounds. Because
Yep.
I have 2 young kids, I have to be home. That's my option. I
Because the
wish I could
majority of
go
your time
out
is spent creating listings or fulfilling orders.
creating listings, but I have to do whatever it is I can do from home, right? Where my kids
Correct.
can like be home with me, whatever.
Yep.
So that means I can sit at my computer and list. Now, if I had time to go out and source, if I spent 5 days a week sourcing and I could go out all day and I could get higher dollar items, I would do that. But because of where I am in my life right now, I just don't have, I can't. I have these like small blocks of time that I have to go sourcing in. And so I have to find the most amount of stuff that I can just list all day at home with my kids. Does that make sense?
It makes a ton of sense, but let's also go further and just like to be able to do that the way you do it. I know for a fact like efficiency is huge for you for like how you do anything. You're probably just super crazy about it. Like, but
Yeah.
and like you said, you have to batch the sourcing so that you can get everything done. What is like the thing that just takes the longest that is like the slowest part of the operation? Is it just the listing part and the photographing?
Yeah, I don't think that honestly there's one that's like worse than the other. Joe actually does the inventory section and the measurements, and I think that's the like real time consumer. But I do the photographing and the sit down and list it and price it. I'm just really efficient. So I don't, it takes me about 5 minutes from start to
But
finish, like the
but
photograph
you
and
have
the
an
list.
advantage over most people from having knowledge as a reseller and as
Yeah.
a woman who's into fashion. And so this brings me to my next point is that you're not looking everything up when you're buying and when you're listing, correct? I'm sure you're doing some lookups at either point, listing or buying, but for the most part, what percentage of your buys do you not look up?
95%.
And
I
what
don't look up
percentage of your
anymore.
buys do you do zero research as far as listing?
Um, 99. Honestly, I don't
Okay,
research at all anymore, really.
this is a major key, guys. You want to list a lot of stuff and be very efficient. The time has to come from somewhere. Like you said, what would your average time to create a listing on Poshmark?
So I can, if 1 minute for the photograph. I do it in bulk. So I'll photograph everything at once. I have 50 items. It takes me 50 minutes.
Correct.
And then about 5 minutes or less for the listing. And that's if I need to like kind of look something up. I can do a listing in under 3 minutes, start to finish,
Okay, so
put the
roughly
photos in.
roughly 5 minutes all in for each listing.
Yeah,
But if you had to research every single item, do you know what I mean? How much longer would that take? And also, in those 3 hours at the bins, if you're able to source 100 pounds of clothing, if you had to look up every single item, how many pounds would you have gotten? 50, 30, 25?
right.
And so, and I know from my experience with Posh Hanger with Monica Gamboa, it's the same way. And I don't know a ton of large sellers that do clothing, but I would assume that that's where a lot of the time savings comes in. Sure, you lose out on $5 and $10 here on an item, but the efficiency is the winner. You get to sell, way more items. You're the person that can list 100 items in a day.
Yeah, exactly. And I know a lot of people, they say like, I could never sell things for 15, $18. But when you break it down, because I don't have to do as much research, it doesn't take me long to do this. So yeah, I can sell it for that much and make a good living.
And because time is money, guys, so like, yeah, you might, get $10 more for that item, but if you spend 15 minutes more looking it up, you basically didn't make any money unless you want to work for 20
Yeah.
bucks an hour.
The thing that stresses me out the most is when people come to me and they'll message me and be like, Nicole, I've been trying to find this item, like the stock photo or whatever it is for this item, for the last 3 hours, and they're not exaggerating. And I can't find it. Like, can you please help me? And I'm just like, first off, don't do that. Just list it and like move on with your life. You know, you're gonna make mistakes and you're gonna underprice things or overprice things, but the market will tell you. If you list something and it sells in a minute for full price, you probably underpriced it.
That's a good point. That's a funny and good point, is to not only be efficient with it, but let the game teach you. So like you said, whoops, sold that too fast. Next time, you can price it a little bit higher, and you'll learn organically through the sales that you make. It's kind of like how Gary Vee says, he's like, I don't consume content, I just read comments. And through the behaviors, through what happens, the results speak for themselves.
Absolutely. And that's another thing I was talking about in the beginning of the show is time management and not being that's the correct term, right? Risk adverse. Like I take risks all the time. I just do it. If I don't know what something is, sometimes I'll just list it and like see what the market tells me and see where I messed up with it, because that's how you really make that's how you learn. So I've been at the bins and people have come to me and been like, Nicole, I follow you on YouTube. Like, can you tell me if I should buy this or not? And I will straight tell them, no, I can't, because you have to learn. And the way I learned and the way that you're going to learn is by looking up every single thing until it's ingrained in your memory and you don't have to look it up anymore. Or
Right.
you're at the bins, buy it for 50 cents and see if it
Learn.
sells. And if it
Cheap
doesn't,
casino.
yep.
Right. See, that's the difference between what you do and what I do. Is there's a bazillion books on Amazon, and even though I've been selling books for 15 years, I don't like have it memorized. You know what I mean? I just know the efficiency and the technology and the systems. But with clothing, you can have a hold on it to where you're not really losing a ton of money. You'll occasionally probably let something go that you shouldn't have let go for so cheap. But for the most part, you know that these kind of jeans in this style sell for about $30 a pair used, so you don't have to look them up, because based on that brand and the cut of the jean and the condition, and maybe even the nuance of, oh, these are acid wash or stone wash or black denim or whatever the hell, but for you that's a 30-second cursory decision. And for me, that would be like, that would result in me calling you on the phone and being like,
You have,
Nicole, I'm gonna
Nicole, should I
FaceTime you.
buy
I'm gonna
this?
FaceTime you. We should make that service where people can FaceTime you from at the thrift store and then just show you the things,
Oh,
and then you tell them whether or not to buy it. FaceTime
we should do a video where we do that, where you go to the thrift, a
live.
live like YouTube, and then I say whether or not you should buy it.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be a signal nightmare. Definitely a signal nightmare.
um, but I think that people, but the one tip I can tell you is that when I first started doing this like full time 4 years ago, I was the person who spent, a 5 minutes on every item having to look it up. And you gotta pay your dues in the beginning and you have to look it up. It's the only way that you'll figure it out, or you'll just buy it and take that risk and make a mistake. But just keep doing that until it's ingrained in your head. You really only have to buy something once or twice and you realize it's a home run, and you're always gonna know. Next time you're not gonna have to look it up.
Right. Someone was saying, yeah, Poshmark automatically now is working with the IRS for taxes, or I guess for state taxes. Do you know anything about that? Is that pretty recent?
Yeah, so it's just like any other site. Now it's the website has to collect state tax
Yep.
for you. So it's no different. Oregon doesn't have tax, so
It's
it
good
doesn't
though,
affect
right?
me.
Because it's like, I mean, you got to do it anyways. It's like complaining about gas when you have a car that takes
Yeah.
gas. You need it anyways. And at least, if you're going to get raped by the government for tax, at least, they're doing all the work. Before they were raping us and then making us like do the work. You know what I mean? Like
And
making us
I
having
don't.
to go sign up for like, no, no. I'm not
People were
hiring
so
some company
upset.
to help me pay taxes. Just
Right.
take the damn money. Let me tell you, what state I live in, platform.
Take it. Yeah,
Take it.
people were upset about that, and I was like, "Why are you guys mad? You had to do that." Like, I know my friend Kayla, Hazelard's Vintage. She used to have to literally go through all her sales and like do all the sales tax herself. She's like,
Right.
"Yeah, I save like 3 or 4 hours every quarter now, not having to do that."
Right. It's good. It's good. You got to pay your taxes unless you want to move somewhere else where you don't have taxes. Just let
I
them
wish
handle
that
it.
they would just.
The thing is they can't, they can't let the sellers handle it because there's too many sellers and the amount of tax dollars is too large to be put in the hands of like ragtag random sellers. Those people that most people probably sell one thing and never sell another thing ever
Right.
again. Most people, right? And so they
Yeah,
have
they
to
don't
do
know.
it, and Amazon's even starting to do it now, and everything, which is great. It's just less stuff for me to worry about. Handle it, take it out of my money before you give it to me. Thank you.
Reezy, are we gonna do video questions? Because we got to do
We
them.
were gonna, but I didn't get anyone. No one showed up, so I'm guessing
Okay.
no one messaged us. So it was a complete flop because nobody messaged me a question on Instagram. Maybe I need to figure out a better way to do this. The thing is if I put the here, let's do it. I'll do it right now and see what happens. So I told you something bad was gonna happen. Let's see what happens when I do this. So I just put the link to join the live stream in the YouTube comments. So if you have a question and I didn't answer it yet, click on that. You should be brought into the live show, at least into the queue, and then I'll bring you into the show and you can ask your question live. Also, guys, don't forget to copy your Reezy pins. There's a link down below. Limited edition, only 100 of each pin. There's probably only about 50 left of each one. The link is down there. And also, don't forget to go check out Nicole's Instagram and YouTube. All of that stuff is down there below. Also, Nicole, did you say you're doing
Yes.
a meetup?
Yes, Reezy. Well, thank you for remembering this. I'm
Totally
going
not
to
pre-planned. Not
I'm
pre-planned.
going to the DC area in about a week, and we are hosting a meetup on the 19th in Maryland, Fredericks, Maryland. I
This
don't know.
month on the 19th, October 19th in
Yeah.
Maryland.
So we rented out a whole bar. So you do have to pay to get in. It's $20, but you get all your food and you get like a drink ticket or whatever. So we have like a whole bar. It's going to be all resellers. You don't have to just be a Poshmark seller. Like anyone can come to this and hang out with your peers. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah. I saw that there is a small admission price, but it includes wine and appetizers.
Yeah.
So that's a deal for me. I'm in. I'm gonna fly in just for the wine and appetizers.
I bought a ticket. Like I had to buy a ticket too, but we had to find a space that was big enough. There should be about 50 people there, which is
Dude,
a good amount of
did you
people.
book out the space with the restaurant?
Yeah, so we had to pay for it and all
Dude,
that.
it's no joke. You can't just be an influencer and just show up. Places kick you out. I found that out. They kick
Yeah, they
you out.
do.
Like I got kicked out. Like me and like 80 people got kicked out of a rooftop bar in New York last week or what was it?
You
Like 3
did?
weeks ago. Yeah, because we kind of like we planned it, but then they were like they got all mad because we were using cameras and we were like keeping our cameramen on the low, but like you know how it is, it's a social media meetup, so everybody pulls their phone out, and I can't tell people who showed up not to use their phone. There's 80 people. You know what I mean? And so like
Yeah.
and then plus we were occupying a large amount of tables and not buying a large amount of food. We're buying drinks, but you know what I mean? Like our average dollar per chair or whatever probably was pretty low compared to people that show up and buy a meal, right? And so they
Yeah.
kicked us out. We took it down to the grass down by the Brooklyn Bridge and it was all good, but you got to book your thing because people are going to show up and it's all official. It's like adult stuff.
Yeah, I can't just unfortunately, I can't just be like, hey, we're gonna have a meetup at this restaurant and book a 10 top anymore, right? Because then that's not fair. I can only have 10 people there and more people want to come. And I got to make sure there's space for everyone, which means I personally have to pay out of pocket to reserve this space and get it all. So I'll lose money at the end of the day. So that's why we have like a charge. It's like $20 or whatever. But I'm telling you that I'm paying more than that
Why
to have
why
this.
why is it in Maryland? Like why is it not in Portland?
Well, because I'm going to visit some family out in
Oh, sweet.
Virginia. Yeah. And
Cool.
then if we got any Redskins fans in the house, we're gonna go to a Redskins game, I guess. And my husband's cousin plays for them. It's a whole thing. So that's why we're going up there.
Huh. Awesome. Awesome. We've been going for like an hour and 24 minutes. What's like, let's just sum it up. What do people need to know about Poshmark? Get on the platform, list some stuff, just make some money.
Poshmark is a startup still, and you have an opportunity to be first on the site. That's like a huge deal, you guys. I don't know if you realize how big that is. I know a lot of people are like, well, they don't have as many sellers, they don't have as many buyers over there. I don't want to waste my time. You're going to regret that in 3 years when they're bigger than eBay and you weren't first on the site, and then you have to build your footprint with more, what is the word I'm looking for? More competition than you do right now. I wish I would have gotten on there 3 years ago. My kids are screaming at each other.
We got one. We're gonna do one video caller. We got a video caller. Hold on, real quick. Let me bring them on.
Oh shit!
Hey,
what's up, Breezy?
What's up? Can you see me and Nicole?
Yeah, for sure. I've been watching the whole stream, dude.
Awesome. What's your name? Where are you from?
Dan. My name's Dan. Record Man Dan on YouTube.
What's your YouTube?
Record Man Dan.
Record Man Dan. Where are you from, Dan?
Sacramento, California.
Awesome.
I'm jealous you're from Santa Cruz. I try to head up there every chance I get.
Oh man, it's beautiful here. Sometimes I think, am I scared to like leave where I grew up at, or did I just happen to grow up in like the best place ever? I think it's just the best place ever. I got lucky.
Yeah, my wife and I got married there, right on the coast, man. A house that we rented that was right on the ocean, the Pleasure Point.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful, dude. That's the area I want to live in. Either that area or the west side, but by the lighthouse somewhere. But yeah. So do you got a question here for Nicole or me?
No, I don't. I just I hit your little link. You guys are covering so much.
I feel bad.
Hold on, can you hear Nicole?
Yeah, totally.
No. She can't. Nicole, you can't hear him.
Oh.
Hold on a second.
I'm on my phone right now.
Let me see if I take my Here, talk. Keep talking.
Oh, my bad. I'm on my phone right now. That might be the problem.
Oh yeah, it's like not. That's sad.
It's not working. We got to figure it out. So I'll translate it for you, Nicole. But basically, he said he doesn't have a question. He's just been watching the show, enjoying it.
I didn't want to be scared, so I clicked the link.
Yeah, I told people click on the link to join unless you're scared. So he wasn't scared and he joined. But so, hey, we're gonna let you go because we got 2 other people that might have a question, and I gotta let Nicole go. She got screaming babies, and
yeah, no problem, man.
Did you hear me screaming at them?
Appreciate you guys.
I did a little bit. Hey, thank you, bro. Let's try another one. All right, let's do another one here. We got P51 Driver. You're live on the show.
Hey, what's up, Reese? I got a lot of background. My little what do you call tripod broke, man. So I just kind of go with what I got.
Nicole, can you hear him?
Yeah.
Oh, you can.
I can hear someone else in the background. It looks. I don't. It's on my end, I'm sure.
No. So you got me and Nicole here.
I got you.
You got a question for us?
Yeah, I just kind of wondering. I've been so not. Yeah. I'm kind of wondering what the better platform is, eBay or Poshmark. I've used eBay for years, got the account hacked, and I went back on the eBay platform again. And I just got into Poshmark. I get a lot of negativity out there on YouTube about why we shouldn't be on Poshmark, because you need to be in high fashion and buy all these high-end stuff and try and sell it. And I don't know much about fashion, but it seems like a really good product. I'm gated with Amazon, so I'm looking for something I could, get on there and sell fast. I'd get on there with eBay. Seems to work okay.
Don't be scared, right? Is that what? So basically, what's your question? Is like, should you be?
Yeah, I think my question is
serious or not, because you don't really sell a certain type of fashion that's stereotypically being purchased on Poshmark.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I've been watching Nicole here, and then of course Hustle at Home Mom,
right?
And try to write down all the names of all this. I mean, I know Nike is, and Adidas, and Puma, and all this other stuff.
I'm going to interrupt here and just tell you that you don't need to do that. So if I sell like really crazy stuff on there too that people are like, that wouldn't sell on Poshmark, but it totally does. So the market is really large on Poshmark, and you don't need to sell just stuff that's like in fashion. You can sell comfort shoes. You can sell like whatever it is that you know. The best sellers are going to be the people who know their product. and sell it. So I don't know what your niche is. Or like
Also,
what you're
though, there's
selling
going
on
to be
other
less.
platforms.
There's going to be less competition, right? And the marketplace is ever evolving. So maybe they're not there right now, but maybe there'll be more of them later. And maybe you're the only one indexing on Poshmark for cowboy boots.
Sure. No, I totally understand that. Take care of the niche, but I'm wondering, because it takes a while to list. Like I've got a bunch of DVDs. I got a list over here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and
what's the question?
Sorry, I get the feedback. I apologize. Like,
no worries.
But anyway, so I'm just wondering whether I should spend more time on Poshmark or eBay. And I don't know if I got time to do both, whether it's going to take up too much time. I just got in this little seminar here.
Are you selling mostly clothing, or are you selling mostly random stuff?
It's just random stuff. Reezy, we talked a couple of weeks ago, dude. You had me on I called in. I said I scan everything, dude. I walk in the store, boom, 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 boom. Find something and like, okay.
I mean, if you're selling a lot of clothing, I think you should definitely double post it from eBay to Poshmark. There's no reason to choose one platform. You can sell both. And obviously you want to do it as thorough and detailed as you can, but even just taking your active eBay listings and like screenshotting the listing from your phone, like the images, and then like using that to list it over to Poshmark. Like I know people that do that make money. eBay's their main thing, and they do like 20 to 30% of sales on Poshmark, but they're just literally just in their eBay app when they're sitting at the doctor's office, open up the item, screenshot the thing, edit, copy the title, open the Poshmark app, paste the photos, paste the title.
There's a lot of there's 2 good cross-listing softwares out there right now too. List Perfectly, and they'll list it over onto Macari, they'll list it over onto Poshmark, everything, and they'll end your listings if it sells on another platform. You have to pay a monthly fee, but it's worth it.
Awesome. Do they have an affiliate link?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I'll be able to find it.
How are you going to make a beautiful face when you're like, yeah, it's really good? Oh my god!
No, because I don't use it. I'm not cross-listing right now.
You should.
I have friends who use their affiliate links, and I'm like, wow, that's like a crazy one. They're paying like $20 per person to get signed up.
Yeah.
So if you use it,
they should. Yeah.
But anyway, List Perfectly is amazing, and then Vendu, they're still good.
Vendu's working now. Last time I saw they weren't working. It's up and running.
They were at PoshFest, yeah.
Oh, nice, cool. I love those guys. Shout out Vendu. Go check them out.
So real quickly, Reed, I was going to tell you the other day. I was going to write something to you. I found a wholesaler for a guy that actually manufactures. There's like these stuffed animals he sells. He only sells them at the fairs, but they sell like anywhere from like $5 to $20 a piece, and he sells like. I mean, he makes like 20 grand at a fair. You know what I mean? Selling like these stuffed animals. He's actually trying to sell them across the United States. And I thought about that'd be kind of cool to maybe put on Etsy.
Are they bootleg or what?
No, he makes them right here in the United States. Yeah, he lives like I'm up here in Washington State, right? He's about 20 miles from me.
And they're licensed or what? They're officially licensed. It's like a Batman plush and a Superman.
No, it's all just like this stuffed animal thing, like sand animal.
Sorry, my kids are gonna freak out.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I probably like 5 more minutes left.
Yeah. I gotta let you go, P51. Thanks for calling in, bro.
All right, man.
We'll do one more real quick. Sorry, one more real quick. Hey, Sean.
Oh, hi, Reezy.
How you doing? You're live on the show. Do you got a question for me or Nicole?
Yeah. What's it called? We have like a giant piles of clothes all over our house, and I've been trying to get my mom to like sell this stuff on like Poshmark, and we just have like a whole closet filled with stuff that we like don't wear.
Right. Get on it, man.
So, like,
I can't hear Sean, so you have to tell me what he said.
I like have to hang up everything.
He's really quiet, but basically he's got like a house full of excess clothing, and he needs to start selling it to kickstart his business, and he's somewhat overwhelmed. And I'm going to tell you, Sean, straight up, you just got to start doing it, man. Organize an area where you can start photographing stuff, and then start going through it and start finding what's worth your time to list or not, and then start photographing it and putting it up there. That's the only way you're going to figure it out.
Okay.
You definitely can do some research and learn, and maybe, if it's your mom's clothing or your sister's clothing, maybe they can tell you, hey, that's a good one. You know what I mean? because you might not know it's a Target dress, but they'll know right away, and then they'll also know, oh, that one came from the nice store, like whatever.
Sean, do you have an iPhone? Because the app Completely is probably super good for you. Because all you got to do is type in like the name of the brand and like dress or whatever it is,
Yeah,
and it'll show you.
Look this app up, Sean. It's called Completely, and there's also one called For What It's Worth. Both of those are like third-party eBay research apps, and they make it faster to do research, and you even get more data. So that should save you some time. You could quickly just put in black whatever dress, and then you'll see right away the average selling price for that dress is $7. So it's not worth your time, and you go to the next one.
Oh, and Sellhound. Do you use Sellhound, Reezy?
No.
Sellhound will tell you across all platforms what the average selling price. So it'll say Poshmark is selling for this price, eBay is selling for this price,
Nice.
Kari for this price, and then you can go from there and pick where you want to list it at.
Awesome. All right, Sean, hopefully that helps you. Send me or Nicole a DM if you need some more help.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
All right, have a good day, Sean. Okay, so we're done with taking video callers. That was rough, but it appears to work. Thank you so much for your time, Nicole. I know we didn't fully cover how to sell on Poshmark, but hopefully we inspired some people to at least try selling on Poshmark and to think about the future of Poshmark, and people that are maybe kind of already selling to take it more seriously, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. So don't forget, Nicole has a meetup on the East Coast in Maryland. That's this month. It's on the 19th, right?
You got it.
And you're going to have a link in your Instagram on your link tree. Go follow Nicole at nicole.state on Instagram. Her YouTube is in the description. Please click on it, subscribe, follow, and do me a favor. Go to one of her Instagram posts or one of her Instagram videos and, mention this show. I saw you on Reezy. Appreciate you. Whatever. Just drop some love for the people that are dropping some love back to me and to you and doing this whole thing. We got babies that need their mamas, and they're giving us their time, so we appreciate it.
We do. And give Reezy a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications.
Do all that.
Do all that stuff. You know what the YouTube dude told me? The YouTube dude's name is Matt. He works at YouTube, and he said that if you want people to do something on YouTube, you have to ask them.
Please subscribe.
I'm asking you.
Please, would you subscribe?
Please subscribe to this video.
Would you like the video? So here's the deal, though. If you want to continue to learn how to make money online, as well as get inspired and motivated by myself and other resellers who already make a living selling online and doing other online income streams, subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos. Some of them could change your life, right? I know some of you guys just watch this and don't really do it, but then there's, the few of you that don't even watch anymore because you got what you needed and it changed your life. You know what I mean? So it is what you make of it. Take the information and do something with it, please. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. And we're going to do some more live shows, Nicole, because I like doing live shows with you. It's super fun.
My channel next time. Let's do one again.
All right. One for me, one for you.
Deal. I'll see you guys later.
Peace out, guys. Remember, if you ain't flipping,
you slipping.
You slipping. It's been a long time. You almost forgot. Jeez.
I didn't know if you wanted me to say it or if you were going to say it. You pre-warned me that I was supposed to do this.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. If you want some help learning how to sell on Amazon, go over to my website, reezyresells.com. Grab a copy of my free intro to Amazon course. That will get you in the game. Sign up to my email list to get a monthly sales rank chart updated sent to you and get other special content. Go check out my Facebook group. Listen to this on the podcast, because if you're like me who has time to watch videos, just drive around and podcast it, or, go to the bins and listen to a podcast. Sounds amazing. But we'll see you guys on the next one. Fancy. Bye, guys. Thank you for tuning in.